Welcome back to the SamJW channel. Gary Rowett's Oxford United are still unbeaten in the Championship. How long can this run go on for? We'll wait and see. Of course, we've got a midweek game against Luton and then a trip to the Britannia on Saturday, so it might come to an end very, very quickly. But let's talk about Oxford's 1-0 win against Blackburn Rovers. So yes, Gary Rowett's side pick up 3 points against Blackburn Rovers at Grenoble Road. And I have to say, this was a performance that was very, very impressive. This might well be Oxford's best performance of the season, other than, of course, the 2-0 win on the opening day of the campaign against Norwich. This was a campaign, or a game, I should say, in the campaign where Oxford, we took our chances. We were, for the most part, dominant in the game in terms of, controlling the ball, moving it well. There are some dangerous moments that Blackburn offered, don't get me wrong, but we looked better than them, and we haven't been able to say that many times this season. Of course, we'll look at the lineup. Gary Rowett, of course, selected Jamie Cumming in goal, Peter Kioso and Greg Lee as the wing-backs, with Ciaron Brown partnering Michal Helick at centre-back. Will Vaulks and Brannagan continuing in the midfield, with Ruben Rodriguez, Siriki Dembele and Shemi Poaheta in the attacking phase of the midfield. And of course, Mark Harris is up top. It's obviously a... that might be, other than perhaps Elliot Moore, for either Ciaron Brown or Michal Helick, and maybe Tyler Goodrow. Obviously depends on the game. That might well be our strongest lineup. I think it's definitely the side that we look to go with when we want to kind of control the ball and dictate a game. And obviously, it was a big day for Michal Helick, making his Oxford debut after, having arrived or officially signing for the club on Friday afternoon. Maybe having half a training session with his new teammates, and to be chucked right in at the deep end, as we'll go on to talk about in a little bit. He did quite well, I thought. So the first half. Now, there is a disallowed goal in here. I'm not going to be able to find it. But the ball is put in the back of the net, and it's flagged for offside, and it's not counted as a shot, annoyingly, and football hasn't picked it up as a highlight to talk about. So we put the ball in the back of the net after starting really, really well. I thought we were the better side in the first 20 minutes. We were moving the ball really well. Not a lot of pressure coming on our defence in the first 20-25 minutes of the game, but Sparky puts the ball, I think it's Ruben actually puts the ball in the back of the net, but Sparky is offside. Now there is a little bit of debate from pundits that have been able to see a different angle, that Harris wasn't interfering in the play, should have been flagged offside, whatever the situation was. In the East Stand, I couldn't really see. All I saw was the ball hit the back of the net, and we went momentarily started jumping up and down, thinking we'd scored a goal, but obviously it was chalked off as the liner put his flag up. Whether it was as an offside, I'm not sure. Like I say, I've not been able to find a highlight package that has that offside goal in it. But it was I think it was a tale that showed that we were really in this game. We were creating some goal opportunities, but it did slightly turn about half an hour in, I think. If we look at the momentum chart, the first big pick is in the 25th minute, but it kind of doesn't amount to much, and then in the 36th, this is the big chance for Blackburn. They're piling on the pressure, and Jamie Cumming makes a superb save. I mean, it was this one from is that one from Weimann? It must be in that case, but that's one from Weimann, the 25th minute. It must come earlier than I'm incorrect. it's a brilliant save, a brilliant bit of movement from Blackburn Rovers. I believe it's down the right hand side, and ball's cut in from the right hand Vyman. He comes onto it really nicely, strikes it well, and it's really well saved by Jamie Cumming to deny the visitors the opener. For the next kind of, I'd say the last 15 minutes especially of this first half, the away side were the better, having some big opportunities. This one is a pretty Buckley with a really decent effort from a wide angle, but it's a good save by Jamie Cumming. And then this one here from Buckley a little bit earlier is a little bit wild, but that was kind of the moment we were going, we need to wake up because they're really piling on the pressure of Blackburn. But yeah, we went at 0-0, had ever so slightly more of the ball, slightly better chances created, 3 more total shots, 2 more on target. We always like to look at the passing numbers, obviously, ever so slightly more for Oxford, and ever so slightly more of those being accurate. Obviously, the vast majority of these coming in our own half. Thankfully, not a lot of fans moan about it in the first half as much as we have seen in the past from Oxford fans. But this is, we talk about time and time again, this is just how teams play with the ball at feet, play with creating these opportunities. And I've mentioned it before, but I'm so glad that Gary Rowett has stuck to the identity of this football club. He's made us defensively more solid, but kept the Oxford way, which is attacking football, forward-thinking football, trying to get on the up in opposition faces and control the tempo of games. I'm really happy he's done that, and it seems to be at the moment working pretty well. So as you can see, we had much more touches in Blackburn's half, which was just showing just how much better we were, especially in those opening 20 to 24 minutes, I'd argue. Obviously, neither side creating a massive opportunity. Obviously, other than the disallowed offside goal, but a 0.27 for the visitors and a 0.57 for the hosts. There weren't an awful lot of big chances if we look at the shot map here. A lot of blocks being made by Blackburn. A lot of bodies being put on the line. There were, I think, John Eustace's side, they were really, at points they were struggling to manage the pressure that we were piling on, especially with Siriki Dembele, Ciaron Brown, Ruben Rodriguez obviously leading the press in that first half. So it was a kind of even first half, and at the break, the visitors made the visitors were forced into a change in the first half, I should say. I thought it was in just after half time. Adam Forshaw was brought on for Trostad even. Some kind of knock that he picked up, but we used it to our advantage. Owen Forshaw didn't have a good game, I think it's fair to say, and a lot of I saw a few Blackburn fans were asking why is he still at their football club. I think he's only just arrived, but they're not happy with him at all. But yeah, it was certainly an interesting second half as we went to it, because I think Blackburn, they started ever so slightly better in the second half. But after that kind of a 5-minute spell, we got the ball back and we started to again dominate the ball, looking much better on the whole in this game. And there's a really good chance from a corner kick. I believe it's this one from Jamie Cumming, where it's really well played. Comes to Michal Helick, who plays it to his fellow Polish former international, and it's really well saved by the Blackburn keeper. But I think that was they're showing that Gary outside were not gonna let up in this half. Both sides missed their big chance of the game. I think ours is I think it's another one of those where it's a flash cross. It must be this. It's this one from Harris, thinking about it. It's a really good bit of play Ball is fed through from Ruben Rodriguez to Mark Harris, and very similar situation to the goal he doesn't score against Watford, where it's played through and he does what we would want him to. He goes for the target, he hits the keeper, but again, one of those ones where if Sparky chips it, he's beating the goalkeeper and we're 1-0 up earlier than we do take the lead. I'm not going to critique Harris too much for missing that opportunity. We've seen, some of the best strikers in the world just make the wrong decision at that split moment, because there's enough. There's enough, things that can go wrong when you dink the keeper, instead of just trying to, blast it right through him. So I'm not going to go too hard on Sparky on that one. And then for Blackburn's, I believe it's this one here, which is a little bit later on, but we've got to talk about the free kick. He's magic, and his magic hat has delivered another beautiful free kick. His first free kick he has scored since the 3-2 loss to Derby last season on the 29th of December. Cameron Brannagan. It comes from a nice bit of play. I believe it's Brannagan that feeds the ball into Siriki Dembele, and Dembele gets caught between two Blackburn men. They bring him down, and that gives Brannagan a chance to stand over the ball. So standing over the ball on this occasion was Will Vaulks, and our number 8 and our talismanic Brannagan hits a really, really nice free kick. There's been some suggestion that maybe take a little nick off the wall. On some of the replays, I've not been. It's difficult to pinpoint the angle it comes at. It's difficult to pinpoint kind of how major the deflection is that it takes off the wall, or if there's one at all. We don't care. It flies into the top right-hand corner, beating the Blackburn keeper, and Oxford United take it must be said, deserved 1-0 lead in this game. It's very much a case of, like I say, the goal was coming. If it wasn't from Pochetta, if it wasn't from Harris or Rodriguez, or a number of the good chances we had, we looked the better side at this point in the game. And yeah, I wish we got on a second to kind of see it out, be more comfortable in the game, but a 1-0 win is a 1-0 win, and especially against side that are up and around those playoff places. Again, if we look at the momentum chart again, so the goal comes here, and we have a little bit more of the ball, and then it kind of turns again. Blackburn have a bit of sustained possession, don't do an awful lot with it, and then another big peak where I believe it's an effort from Ruben, I think it is. What if we can find it on our trusty shot map? It doesn't look likely, but another big spell of possession and a really high kind of entrance into the opposition half. But then the opposition side, they finished Blackburn. They finished the second half better. Potentially could have scored an equaliser. There was a series of set pieces, and it's this one from Hyam right at the death. Ball is flicked, is sent in from the corner kick. It's nodded down by a Blackburn defender, and then Hyam, he tries to just put his foot right through the ball, and Jamie Cumming smothers it, and we get the 3 points against a Blackburn Rovers side that, like I said, look very, very good in the division so far this campaign. Like I said a minute ago, I think we were deserved winners in this game. We look better than Blackburn, and like I said, I think this was the best performance that Oxford have put in, barring the Norwich game. This was our best performance under Gary Rowett, and bearing in mind the opposition, bearing in mind just kind of on the whole how good we looked with the ball, ever so slightly worse accurate passes for us. Again, ever so slightly on this occasion more in an hour and a half. But again, this tells a tale that ever slightly more touch in the opposition area. It's slightly more even. A lot of those were coming late, obviously. But there's telling the tale that we were defensively very stable, very assured. And it was, one of those very, very good performances for Oxford United. And it finishes 1-0. Quickly go through all the player performances. So Jamie Cumming obviously makes a massive save in the first half, makes a big smother in the second to give us all 3 points. I think first half he had a lot more to do. He didn't have an awful lot to do in the second half until obviously the 90th minute came, where Blackburn started really trying to get that equaliser. The wing backs Lee and Kioso. I thought they were fine. Didn't see them. I didn't notice them an awful lot during the game. So usually tells a tale. If you don't notice them, it means they've, for the most part, had the better of their winger. And I think they were relatively good in that game. Like I say, didn't notice an awful lot, but maybe that's the best thing, is when they can have kind of a quiet day. Ciaron Brown had a really good performance from Ciaron. Our Northern Irishman stepping up in the absence of Elliot Moore. And Michal Helick, a really, really good debut. He did get skinned. I think it's in the opening kind of 15-20 minutes. On the rare occasion that Blackburn did venture forward, he got skinned twice, and I thought, this is not looking good. But it was marked improvement in the second half, and I think I said it in the transfer video, we've got ourselves a real deal here with Michal Helick, and we've now got a lot of depth in the centre back areas. Will Vaulks, another really good performance by Will. Under the Rowett regime, he looked just a complete new man. It looks like a new signing with Will Vaulks. And then of course Cameron Brannagan gets the goal, and it's one of those kind of all-conquering Brannagan performances that we haven't seen too much of in the Championship of late, because the rest of the side have kind of picked up their level. But Brannagan, when he's on fire, when he's on form, he's a really, really top draw player for our football club. For Heta, I thought Shemi looked better in the second half. Struggled a little bit in the first, but a lad that obviously continues to go from strength to strength under kind of Rowett. Siriki Dembele is an interesting one, because I thought first half he looked really good. Always taking on his man, always driving forward, always being on his side, the first man to press and try and win the ball back. Second half, again, as we talked about in the Plymouth result, trying to do a bit too much, trying to be too tricky. Obviously wins the free kick that Brannagan converts. Other than that, I think it was a meh performance for Siriki Dembele. Ruben Rodriguez, again, he and Harris will always press their backsides off. Didn't get the rub of the green, obviously has the goal disallowed, but not going to complain with a 1-0 win, are we, against a side like Blackburn. But not an outstanding day, but not an awful day by any stretch of the imagination. 4 of the substitutes used. Alex Matos obviously coming on for his home debut. I thought Matos looked really, really decent. Didn't need to be as marauding as he did in the Plymouth result, but he was getting stuck into challenges. Really good passion of play. Dembele was fouled, and Matos kept the charge going with Greg Lee down the left hand side to try and create a chance for us. I thought it was really good from Matos. Tom Bradshaw came on for his home debut, his first appearance for our football club, and it was fine. Made himself a bit of a nuisance while not having the ball a lot, really. Like I mentioned in the transfer video, that I'm a little bit underwhelmed by the signing of Tom Bradshaw, but I'll be delighted if he is proves to be a useful player for us, and I'll be very, very happy if he proves me wrong. Matt Phillips, you'll know that I've gone in on Matt Phillips a couple of times in the last few days. I'm not going to do that today. Came on and was fine, and then El Mazzuni came on with literally only a couple of minutes to go. Didn't do an awful lot. Did the basic tracking back really. And this result, how things can change. It took us from, I think we were 18th, 17th or 18th, I think, up to 15th. We've got that lovely 6-point cushion to the relegation zone. And I'm just going to say, we're 9 points off playoffs, guys. Obviously, that's obviously the focus is stay in the division. But what that does show is just how, over halfway through, slightly over halfway through the season now, still just how tight this championship season is. That there is, we're now back sat mid-table, we're 6 points above the drop, 9 points off playoffs. This championship is really unpredictable, really tight. Obviously, other than the top of the division. But yeah, it's a great place to be in. We've got that cushion. We're now, that our record is starting to look a little bit better. 8 wins, 8 draws and 11 losses. Of course, we've got Luton and Stoke back to back this week. Two games against sides that are below us in the table, but they can't be on. We can't think there's going to be a walk in the park. These are sides that have the capacity to really, they've got the players to turn up, even if the form table recently doesn't show it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Oxford's 1-0 win against Blackburn Rovers in the Championship. Gary Rowett still unbeaten. It's going to be a very interesting visit of Luton again on Tuesday night, and then a trip to the Britannia on Saturday afternoon. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you for the next one.